Let's go.
Welcome to the Soul Fam podcast, where we expand your personal universe.
What's up, Soul Fam? It's Lexi coming to you with a special Halloween reading. I'm using a new deck. I haven't used it before. I'm really excited. It's the Darkwood Mini Tarot by Sasha Graham and Abigail Larson. It's very cute. It's a bit hard to shuffle, so I'm just going to sort of shuffle the old-fashioned way, not the Vegas card dealer way. Not that I know anything about that. So, if you're anything like me, you may not be, but I'm kind of feeling like the last couple weeks have been really busy, eventful, stressful. I kind of feel like there's some energy out there that's got many of us in our feelings. So, the kind of reading I want to do tonight is sort of figure out what is it that we need to know to get us through Halloween. We're going to keep it simple. So we're going to say a quick prayer. Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, we ask that you bring the messages most necessary for the collective at this time, and we ask that all guides who would like to be of assistance be those who work in 100% pure light. So it is. All right, let's see. Give it one more shuffle. Let's see what we're working with here. What do we need to know to get us through Halloween if we might be feeling stressed out, sensitive, and a little bit maybe spread thin? Oof. Oh, all right. Ooh, wow, we're just gonna go for it, huh? Well, guys, there's no beating around the bush on this one. The Three of Swords is a brutal card. This is the heartbreak card, but it's not even necessarily, sort of like a breakup. It could be, but it's not necessarily a breakup in everyday life. This is like a deep broken heart. This is a core wound. So this tells me that, yeah, a lot of us are in our feelings, and some of these core wounds they're wanting to be seen, and it's not fun, and it feels hard, and many of us didn't want to go back and feel these things, but it's time. This particular broken heart wants to be seen. Okay, I'm gonna put that down. All right, so we've got this broken heart, this deep core wound that wants to be seen. What's getting in our way? What's getting in our way of really being present with this broken heart, and not trying to ignore it or put it aside for later? What's getting in the way? Oof. Oh man, this is a swords reading. Yeah. All right, so this is the Eight of Swords. This is a tough one. So you can see that in this deck, she's bound. I think her hands are bound too. Yeah, her hands are bound behind her back. She's blindfolded, sort of like in the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, how the woman in the Two of Swords is blindfolded. But in the Eight of Swords, she's bound and blindfolded, and she's got, it looks like a vulture waiting overhead. When you look down, you've got the Eight Swords in the ground, but this is giving me persecution vibes, burned at the stake vibes. This is a feeling of fear, but also relief, because to me, it looks like she's down. It looks like the ropes have somehow loosened, or she's loosened them, and she's now standing. She's still in a really bad position and probably terrified for her life, with a vulture perhaps waiting to eat her carcass if she were to die. But she doesn't know that she's free. So what this tells me is there's a fear of persecution, and there's a very real trauma associated with having been maybe burned at the stake as a witch, having been shunned from society, maybe having been different as a kid. You may remember past lives of yours where you're running in the woods and you just know you're going to be killed. And a lot of people who are in the magic community, they have those dreams, and they're scary and they're terrifying, and there's no way around it. It's terrifying. I still have them to this day. But I think the important thing is we are free now. Yes, there's still danger. Yes, we're still bound. We're still blindfolded. There's, a predator who would completely eat our dead body. But the swords are in the ground. Whoever may have been standing around her, whether it be soldiers or, people who'd come to persecute her, they've gone. They've left. The tree stump she stands on, it isn't on fire. She's still attached to a rope, but it's loosened. She is free, but she doesn't know it. Okay, so we have a very deep, deep broken heart, a core wound that has us in our feels right now. And it's just a very difficult card. There's no way of sugarcoating this. It's really hard. What's getting in our way is that many of us don't realize that we have been let down from the tree and that our persecutors have gone. They have gone. We're free. This isn't then, this is now. We are free. Okay, so if that's what's getting in our way, what is it that we can work on? Maybe on Halloween, maybe this week, in the next couple of weeks. What can we work on to help us get through this? All right, what is happening here? Okay, all right, so we've got death reversed. Death reversed. Oh, man. Okay, well, let's put it upright so we can just look at it. All right, well, that's death. Sometimes death is just a death. So when I look at this, people will say death means a rebirth. It does. It does. There is a rebirth following a death. But it's also just a death. It's the end of something. And when something is lost, when a person passes away, when we have disappointment, there is a real mourning process. And it is a death in many ways for us. So when I see this reversed, man, it's telling me that there's something about this core wound that we never mourned, or we had to mourn privately. We stuffed it down. We had to be quiet about it. We couldn't grieve properly the way people do in a society that supports them. To me, this is a death mourned silently. Whew. So, perhaps there is something that's got you in your feels this week. You may not even realize it. You may find yourself just sort of on edge, or maybe you snap a little bit and you think, hey, that's not me. I'm evolved. I don't do that anymore. Well, this is telling me that there's a core wound in there that really, really wants to be seen. This little heart in here, this little heart, it may know that it's free. It may know it intellectually, but until you allow it to really, really mourn that death, or mourn that loss, or mourn that ending, until you allow it to grieve the way it wants to, and the way it wants to grieve is to be seen and to be witnessed. And it wants to hear that, you know what, that was a big deal. That was hard. That was painful. That hurt. You shouldn't have had to go through that. I'm so sorry you did. What do you want to say? And this could be a good automatic writing exercise. Another cool thing that I tried recently was sort of like automatic writing, but in, you can use your voice memos in your phone, and you just kind of talk, stream of consciousness. And, if a lot of people journal and you're like me and your hands get tired, sometimes these voice notes are a way to do it. So this little heart, your little heart, it has been through so much. And it's strong. It knows it's strong. But there's still a core wound there that's feeling kind of tender. It's feeling raw. And right now, when the veil is thin, it wants to be seen. It deserves to be seen. And it's time. You are free. You are no longer being persecuted. You may know it on some level, yet you haven't gotten down from the stump. What's stopping you? Death reversed. A death not mourned. An ending not accepted or grieved in the way that it needed to be. Perhaps you had to move on too quickly and it was a matter of survival, or it was a matter of setting it aside and one day you would deal with it. But an ending not grieved, a death not grieved, has this little heart feeling very sensitive right now. So, Soul Fam, on this Halloween, you ask your tender heart, your tender, beautiful heart, your strong heart who's been through so much, ask it, what do you need to say? What needs to be seen? What is it that I haven't grieved? And when you think about it, logically your brain will try to pull things up. But if you feel into it, you might get a sensation, you might smell something that triggers a memory, you might feel a little bit sick, you might see a picture that triggers a memory, and it's in there, and you know. But if you can carve out a little bit of time for this beautiful, strong, wounded heart to grieve in the way that it needs to, for something, an ending, a death that happened a long time ago, I think that's what's going to free you. I think that's when the blindfold comes off and the rope loosens. So that's it, Soul Fam. That's the Halloween reading. I know I'm going to be doing some journaling, and man, I did not want to see these cards. I did not want to see these cards. Nobody wants a really heavy, emo, sad Halloween reading. However, if you're watching this there's maybe something, an ending that you haven't grieved. And until you can let your beautiful, wounded heart grieve in the way that it needs to say what it has to say, to be seen, to be heard, to be witnessed, then it looks like we might be stuck here. So, Soul Fam, let's do some journaling. Let's be brave. Let's see what this beautiful little heart wants to say. I will see you next month. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Soul Fam podcast. Be sure to tune in to every episode where we dive into a different rabbit hole of the known and unknown to empower you in conscious living and exploration of the greater universe. We hope you leave each episode with a little stardust in your hair and inspiration in your heart. With love from your Soul Fam.